Okay, well, happy Easter, everyone. Finally getting around to recording the March homework. Yes, I'm a month late on that. I apologize, but the COVID-19 crisis hit us in more ways than one, so we had a lot of work to do. But anyway, better late than never. So anyway, as we're walking through this, what I'm going to do, let me get the right thing up on the screen here once again. So I'm in the under our folder. If you go to the underwriting templates and download the financial analysis template 1.4, you're going to notice that's the file that I'm playing in right now. And it's also what I'm doing here will be loaded on the solution along with this video. So of your homework, you have those 5 properties. I'm going to be working in the Hermitage, which was the one in Jackson, just to let you know what we're doing. So anyway, first thing we're going to do is we actually need to go and to our T12 for Hermitage, and we're actually going to copy all of this information, which I've actually already done it, but I'm going to, if I just drag this all the way down, hit Control C, and we come back over here to here, and I just clicked right there and hit Control V. Just make sure that I got everything. Yep, so it's all right there. You're also going to want to update these to make sure they match your time period that you're talking about. Mine do because I've already copied it, but I'm just going to take this and right click, paste values. So now we're ready to work. Now this is actually, let me get this guy out of the way. This is actually a multifaceted tool. We're going to go through this other stuff another day, not right now, but the T12 tool is what you're going to want to play with. This is what's going to allow you to quickly take a T12 like this and go and apply these tags down with the drop downs here. And it's going to put them into a nicely formatted table like over here to the right. You can do this by hand. I like Excel, so that's the way I do it. But so, and by the way, you can modify this, which you're probably going to see me do. You know, every T12 is a little bit different. Sometimes you need to do this a little bit differently. But really, what at the end of the day, once we do all this, we're going to come back and double check our total income, total expenses, and net operating income, and make sure we've captured everything correctly. Because the last thing we want to do is summarize it and then it be not reflective of the actual T12. And the reason we're doing this is simply to make it easier to put into our underwriting template because we have a fixed set of categories that we understand, and every property you look at is going to have a whole bunch of different stuff going on, which every owner does differently. So anyway, let's just go down top to bottom here. So monthly scheduled rent, and then they're saying gain or loss to lease, and they're calling this gross potential rent. So what that means to me, this is it's actually backwards with what this means. They really should have these called, this should be gross scheduled rent and this should be gross potential rent. But gross potential rent is what, if your apartment was rented at its full max potential with market, that's what that number would be. And it's at 100% full, like there is no vacancy. So that's really what this number is, because then they're showing, let me delete that here, because then they're showing gain loss to lease, and then they're showing gross potential rent. So loss to lease is what you basically, if you had everything rented up at 100%, it's the difference in your rents and market rents. So that's what they're trying to say up here. We're going to start in our analysis with gross scheduled rents. We're going to call that GSR. By the way, all these tags are in this little list drop down for you. If you added one over here, it's going to show up in this list. I've got it designed to do that. I have them memorized, so I'm just going to go through it that way, if that's okay with y'all. Okay, so let's go through adjustments. The way they're doing it here is they're going to actually start putting in our vacancy and other losses in here as well. And actually, I don't like the name other loss. I'm just going to show you how I can rename this on the fly. These equations aren't hard, by the way, so if you want to poke around at it, it's pretty much just a bunch of sum ifs. But we're going to rename other losses to concessions and non-payment. So basically, I'm going to have physical vacancy and all other losses. And those together would be your economic vacancy when you look at it that way. So anyway, we're going to go through here and figure out what we've got. So model apartments, that's actually a concession or a loss. So we're going to call that C and P. You could call it marketing, but since it's technically an income adjustment, it's a lost unit. Let's see. I take that back. I'm going to call that a vacancy, actually. It's an intentionally down unit. Employee rent allowance, however, is concessions and non-payment. Tenant rent concessions is concessions and non-payment. This is the stuff you give people to make them move in, right? First month's rent free or whatever. Concessions at renewal, that's free stuff you give people to re-sign a lease. Write-off rent, that's bad debt. So we're going to call that concessions and non-payment. And then vacancy loss. So that covers. And as we've tagged these, by the way, you're going to notice that our table is starting to fill up. These are negative numbers because they're losses. And it's going to sum all these together to give us our total income. So anyway, we've started with our gross scheduled rents over here, and we've deducted some losses. Now we have net prepaids and delinquency. So it's unique they're showing this in a T12, but this is usually a rent roll report. So delinquency is people who haven't paid yet. So they're actually showing who's behind here. We're going to call that concessions and non-payment. Net prepaids. Let's see how they're showing this. Some are negative, some are positive. That's interesting. Okay, we're actually going to lump these in the vacancy column simply because we're talking about, no, we're not either. We're going to put them in C and NP. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter as long as you capture it, but I think it belongs better in C and NP because we're talking about payment, early payment versus non-payment. It's prepaids and delinquent. Okay, let's go to other income. Now here, I like to split this in good other income and bad other income. You can do what you want, but I like to know what's probably going to remain as other income after I take it over versus when my good team comes in and acts like all stars and runs the property excellently. Things like, let's get an example, bad debt collected. I'm going to assume we're going to put better tenants in there and maybe this number goes away or gets better, so you can see I already started doing this. Let's check a few of these. Damages, bad other income. I'm going to assume my good tenants won't do that. Pet fees, non-refundable. It's good other income. Insufficient cleaning and transfers, good. Insufficient funds, bad. Building facility fee, good. Security deposit waiver, that's fine. Deposits forfeited, that is bad. Conditional fee, I don't know what that is. Month to month is good. Prior month to month rent is good. Utility, this is actually RUBS. I've got that noted here as utility bill back. That's when we're going to bill utilities back to people. We have water and sewer RUBS. Okay. We have laundry revenue. That's really good other income. Late charges, we'll call that bad. Application fees, good. That's always going to happen. Administrative fees, fine. Cable TV revenue, that's good other income. Lease termination, I'm going to call that good because that happens. I mean, that's just part of life. Internet revenue is good other income. Surprisingly that it's negative, but okay. Courtesy patrol fees. Oh, we've got a courtesy officer on there. That's actually an expense. Why would that be? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and jump ahead and put that on general administrator, or actually contract services. That's a contracted person. And internet revenue, I'm actually going to change that as well. Call that CS because that's a negative. That's a negative revenue, so that's an expense. I don't know why it's up here. Write off other uncollectibles. That is C and NP. Miscellaneous income, we'll call that good. Okay, so I think we have most of our. Oh, there's more. Hang on. Interest income. Okay, that's good other income and other income. Okay. So I just want to double check and make sure we have everything working right. Let's see if this works. So 1,826,906. If I scroll over here, 1,836. Where are we off? Oh, because we split some of this down below. Let me just fool it for a second. So if I just drug all this down, so that is 1,826,906. Okay, 906. Oh, we're missing something else here. This is what you get when I do things live. Oh, nope, it's there. What are we missing? Okay, we may have to let that go. It's pretty close. You really do want to make sure that these all kind of tie out, right? To make sure you're not losing anything. If I really cared, I would do that here, but we're pretty dang close with, I think we're a few dollars off, so we'll give it. Could also be a rounding error. If it's a few dollars, it might be a rounding error. Okay, so now we're going to go to expenses. And by the way, I undid what I changed there, so we still have the ones we pulled out as expenses. So operating expenses, you'll notice sometimes they have these kind of already broken out, and they actually, sometimes it makes sense, but don't take it for granted. And sometimes they'll have things lumped in there that shouldn't be. So we're just going to go ahead and queue up G&A, and I'm going to drag down as I see. So accounting, legal service professional, management fees are not. That is actually management, MGMT. Next one is office supplies. That is general administrative. This is all the stuff it takes to run the office and generally manage the property, right? Meals and entertainment, phone, software, bank charges, employee education, pool permits, building fees, dues, publications, employee travel. Yeah, okay, that's all good G&A. Now we come down here to marketing. I'm going to go ahead and queue up marketing. This is going to be advertising, website hosting, project promotions, resident referral fees. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's all marketing. Payroll and employee benefits. Let's go ahead and queue up payroll. So we've got salaries and wages. That's all good. Bonuses, salaries and lease commissions, employee tax, workman's comp, 401k. Yeah, this is all payroll. What do you know? They did a pretty good job for once. Paint and decorating and turnover. Okay. Some people like to track turnover as a specific category like this. Not always do they do that. We're going to call all of this repairs and maintenance. Now, if you want to go and count this as turnover, you can come right up here under repairs and maintenance or somewhere in expenses, drag over, click insert, and you can simply drag this down. You'll type in turnover, call it turn, whatever you want, and then all of a sudden you'll be able to tag those as turn and it'll work, right? So this is to turn. And all of a sudden you will see stuff showing up, right? So I don't want to do that. I'm going to take all that away that I just did. Okay. And we're going to call all of this repairs and maintenance. So R&M, painting, contract, yeah, we'll call that R&M. Or if you wanted, you could call it contracted services. I'm going to lump that in with repairs and maintenance. To me, contracted services, things like cable, lawn care, pest control, things that I know I'm subbing it out, right? It's nothing to do with my guys. For me, my guys would be doing this. So, okay, repairs and maintenance. That's probably still going to be R&M all the way through here. Let's check. Quick skim. Yeah, those are all good repairs and maintenance items. So that's materials, that's labor, that's, yeah. Grounds expense. So this is grounds and mowing. Oh, good Lord. Grounds and mowing services. Yeah, this is going to be contracted service because never does a property manager do this. They always have contracted out. Now they have contract service here. We've got pest control. Yes. We've got rubbish removal. Are we British? Rubbish removal. HVAC, fixed protection service, key track, uniforms. Okay. And then we have utilities. These are going to be utilities that we pay for. Even if we bill some of it back, we pay the bill. I'll bill as much of this back as I can if I were them. Electricity, gas and oil, water, sewer. Okay. People usually do this, but we consider trash to be a contract service because we're not really paying a utility. We're paying waste management or waste connections or something, someone like that. So that's actually a contract. Okay, real estate taxes, that's simple, TAX. Hazard and liability insurance. We're going to put that under INS. That's the umbrella policy. Property insurance, INS. And that should handle all this. So just to be pretty close, and remember, we're going to be a little bit off because we added some things from income, but we'll just assume we reconcile that. We were good students, right? So cash flow from operations, we should have total operating expense at $962,579. So if I come all the way back here to the top, should be somewhere around 962, give or take. Yeah, that's pretty good. I will, if I'm underwriting a property, I will make sure that I understand why these do not match that exactly. Make sure it ties out, but I'm not going to make y'all watch me do that here on the screen. You notice these are zero. If sometimes I'll find mortgage expense or capex above the line, and I don't want to see that. I want to make sure it comes out so I'm valuing the property properly. And sometimes I'll have things that I'll just flat out ignore. Sometimes they put depreciation in their statements, and that really has nothing to do with me. I might do that, but that's going to have nothing to do with me buying the property. So you don't want to include that as an expense or something like that. So anyway, now we have our nice clean sheet here, and I will see you in the next video for underwriting.